Hi, this is Alonzo Bodden. I want to welcome you to episode 294 of my podcast, Who's Paying Attention? I am recording under somewhat strange circumstances this week. I'm in San Diego at rehearsal of the weekend jazz show Marcus Miller and the Saturday Night Band, which I'm also hosting. So I'm recording from my car in the parking lot while they practice music inside. So if you hear some odd noises, that's what it is. Also this weekend, I'm going to be part of the virtual Just for Laughs Comedy Fest, which you can find at hahaha.com. So I'll talk about it at the end. But yeah, I'm doing a lot of virtual this weekend. So let's get into the vice presidential debate. I'm pretty sure you watched it. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Wasn't as fiery or as ridiculous as the presidential debate. But still, the moderator just can't handle the talking. I mean, Pence was talking over Kamala Harris. I like at the end when they have a scorecard. So he interrupted her 10 times. She interrupted him 5 times. And the other thing the moderator couldn't do, though, she couldn't shut Pence up. They're supposed to speak for 2 minutes. He would just keep going, and she didn't stop him. I don't know how they're going to do that. Have somebody turn off the mic. That's what we do in comedy. In comedy, you go long, they just shut off the mic. That'll put an end to it. But there may not be another debate because Trump's COVID diagnosis, they said the next debate between he and Biden would have to be virtual. And Trump says he's not doing a virtual debate. So again, this feeds that conspiracy theory that this whole thing is, timed perfectly for Trump. But anyway, get away from that. Get back to the vice presidential debate. Obviously, the big star in the debate was the fly. There was a fly that landed on Pence's head, and which was strange to me was that it didn't move. Like normally when a fly lands on you, you notice or you wave it up. This fly hung out long, like for a period of time. I'm sure somewhere they timed it, but it was at least for a couple of minutes, just sitting there enjoying himself. The tweets that followed were hilarious. The obvious tweet that the fly was attracted because Pence is full of shit. They know where to feed. But I think my favorite tweet came from Patton Oswalt, who said, "Ew, that fly has Pence on him." So the other problem with the debates is, and this is my problem, I'm sure yours too, they don't answer the question. The moderator asked Pence a specific question about pre-existing conditions in the healthcare plan, and this came up in the presidential debate. They keep saying Trump has a plan, but no one knows what it is. And she asked what your plan is, and he proceeded to answer with something about Biden and Kamala Harris packing the Supreme Court. He never responded to the question. Same thing about race and racism. He didn't respond to the question. So, and there were times when she did it also, but it's not as obvious. Again, I know I'm biased, blah, 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 but okay. But if you watch it, he avoids questions far more than she does. Did she stick to policy? Yeah. Did she avoid the question about packing the court? Yeah, she dodged that one, but he dodges more. They dodge more. And either way, have the moderator hold them to it. Imagine if sports referees were like moderators. There would never be a buzzer beater because there wouldn't be a buzzer. They just keep going. It'd be like there'd never be a Hail Mary pass at the end of the game in football. They'd be like, yeah, we just need a few more minutes to get this touchdown. We're just going to keep going. We're just going to keep playing for a couple of more minutes. I mean, it's ridiculous. But it was interesting. It was more on policy. Kamala Harris won. She definitely won the meme war. Her side-eye game is beautiful. When Pence was obviously lying or ignoring her, she gave some great side-eye. It was a good debate. I think it was about what people expected. Some people wanted the fiery nonsense that Trump and Biden went through. It wasn't that. And yeah, so that was it. I think Kamala Harris won based on having answers, having facts, and, Pence did what Pence does, dodge and cover for Trump. Another thing going on. Oh, by the way, on the topic, and then I'll get off of this. Mayor Pete Buttigieg is killing Fox News. Now, when they were doing the primaries and he was in, I wasn't a big fan of Pete for president, but he is handling Fox News excellently. They tried the old game of saying, Kamala Harris was an opponent of Joe Biden in the primaries and they didn't agree on health care. Why did she switch? And Pete was basically like, well, if you want to play that game, we could play that game, and we could ask why Mike Pence, an evangelical Christian, supports Donald Trump, who sleeps with porn stars and, lives the Trump life. And again, I still think that's an insult to a porn star. I think it's more like a porn star slept with Donald Trump. Ugh. But anyway, that shut them down. So, yeah, Pete's going over to Fox News because he can handle them. And they're really not that hard to handle because their attacks are childish and kind of, simple to see through. But he's a good guy, and that seems to be his gig. So good for Mayor Pete. Now, let's talk about the Wolverine Watchmen, which are these group of idiots who were plotting to kidnap the governor of Michigan. Okay. First off, can we stop calling them militias? Can we stop legitimizing these gangs? This is a gang of white supremacists who want to kidnap a governor in the United States, a sitting governor. Now, you know what that is? You can call that a gang. You can call it a terrorist organization or whatever, but they're not a militia. Militias were around when you really had to, during Revolutionary War, which they all try to think they're a part of. Just fucking idiots is what they are. So they were caught, infiltrated by the FBI. What's interesting to me is one of the charges against these defendants is being a member of a gang. So if they're being charged with being a member of a gang, why do they keep calling them a militia? Call them a gang. And if you see pictures of these guys, they once again prove my old joke about white supremacists without fail. The least supreme looking white people you'll ever see. The neighbors talked about these guys. They live in some old farm, not even a farm, just a plot of empty land in Michigan. And neighbors said there were always big gatherings on the weekends, a lot of high caliber gunshots, et cetera, et cetera. And, they were out there playing war and planning this, infiltrated by the FBI. And hopefully they go to jail for this. Hopefully this is treated as the serious crime that it is. And once again, it's like the head of the Department of Homeland Security said, the biggest threat in America is not Black Lives Matter. It's not some Muslim organization. It is white males and this white supremacy thing. These are the dangerous, violent people in America. Speaking of dangerous, violent people, let's talk about bad cops. So Sean Lucas was charged with killing Jonathan Price. Remember when I recorded last week, this story had just broke. Jonathan Price, outside of Dallas, Texas, a black man known by everyone in the community, called a pillar of the community, ex-athlete, trainer, blah, 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 breaking up a fight outside of a convenience store, gets murdered by a cop. And I can say murdered by a cop because the cop's charged with murder. Two stories. The cop claims that he tried to detain him. Price reached for him. He shot him with the taser. The taser didn't work because, as you know, black males, superhuman strength, tasers don't work on us. The taser didn't work. He said he was reaching for the taser, so he shot him 4 times. The other story is that this cop came along, right? And the cop tasered him. And when you get tasered, your body convulses, so that there was a convulsion from this man after being tasered. And, wow, I hope I'm still recording. Sorry about this. A few technical difficulties here. After being tasered, he convulsed, and the cop shot him 4 times. And people who were there say that Mr. Price was too far away from this cop to present a threat. We don't know. There is body cam footage. It hasn't been shown yet, so we'll see. But the Texas Rangers, who are Texas's, big cops who do these investigations, said that the killing of Jonathan Price was, quote, not objectionably reasonable. So that means you shouldn't have done it. What's the other thing and this is just kind of funny to me, he got fired after he was charged with murder. That's kind of a crazy thing. Wow. Listen, I have to get back to work. I'm sorry, I can't keep going on this podcast, but I will say there's been one tragedy this week. Somehow Donald Trump did not win the Nobel Prize. Yeah, they were announced today after being nominated by some member of the Norwegian parliament and a member of the Swedish parliament for who knows what. I think he was also nominated by the cousin of the fly that landed on Pence. Somehow Trump did not win a Nobel Prize. So I guess there isn't a prize for giving the coronavirus to everyone who works at the White House, which is what's been going on. This is a highly abbreviated podcast. I just wanted to stay in touch and thank you guys. I hope you're being safe out there. I hope you're voting. Vote, people. Vote, vote, vote. There's been lines of people voting early. They're doing everything to stop you from voting, and that's how powerful it is. I saw one disturbing image in Louisiana where it took a black militia to make it safe for people to vote, and we shouldn't have to have armed people going out to the polls to make sure voting's safe, especially not in 2020. It's ridiculous, but that's what happened. Nothing happened. No shots rang out, thank God, and those people were able to vote. So please register and vote. Do what you can. Thank you for listening. Who's paying attention? You are. This weekend, Marcus Miller and the Saturday Night Band. You can go online at marcusmillerandthesaturdayNightBand.com or smoothjazz.com and find tickets for that show, and also hahaha.com.